we go.
Says we're live.
We are live. Welcome to the second episode of TMoney Interviews. When we look at competitors from all over the world, we think of the current greats, Lewis Hamilton in Formula One to Katie Ledecky in Team USA Swimming. From Conor McGregor in competitive fighting to Kyle Julius in poker. Each of these athletes in their particular craft all choose to win before they begin. Randy Santel is a prime example of how one chooses to win before they begin. Over the past 5 years, he has competed in food challenges from all over the world, including the Pointosaurus, the 50-50, the world's largest breakfast, the 92-ounce steak, and most recently, the Apollo cheesesteak, just to name a few. He just completed a trip to the Sunshine State to collaborate with Nathan Figueroa. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very, very, very excited to welcome Randy Santel to the program. Randy.
Hey, yes, happy to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right. And allow me to apologize in advance. I unfortunately don't have a sweet t-shirt for you to add to your collection, but
oh no, I like the win before you begin. You're doing good so far. And I started back in 2010, so going on over 7 years now.
Oh, okay.
7.5 now.
Fantastic. All right. So there we go. So I guess that's a good lead into my first question. Where did it all begin for Randy Santel?
Well, I played football and just spent many years of my life back in the day overweight and very overweight. I got up to about 346 pounds when I was playing high school football in St. Charles, Missouri, where I'm from, near St. Louis. But kind of everybody that is that big, or not everybody, but a lot of them, just you think about, hey, I wonder what I would look sexy and just trim and have a six-pack and all that. And I wanted to do that after I retired from college football here at Missouri State, where I'm actually back to school becoming a dietitian. But it took a couple of years, but in 2010, I participated in a national body transformation contest sponsored by Men's Health Magazine and then the show on Stars Network, Spartacus, Blood and Sand. But I actually won that over the period of, it was 12 weeks, but I only did it for about 10 weeks. I went from 253 down to 223 is what it was. Lost about about 25 pounds. And I ended up winning this transformation contest and got flown out to New Zealand to appear on an episode of Spartacus. But to celebrate that, because we were on basically a 2-month, just really strict diet in order to win, my buddy and I celebrated by doing a 28-inch pizza in St. Louis, Missouri, called that Pointosaurus that you had mentioned. And we won $500, and I did it pretty easily and actually got dessert afterwards and a few other things and had dinner later that night and thought, hey, I'm pretty good at this, and it would be a little bit of motivation to keep on working out now that I was done with that transformation and wasn't playing any sports. Doing the food challenges was kind of a way to keep me motivated to keep all that going, because I knew that if I did too many challenges, I'd gain a little bit of weight, and I didn't want to do that at the time. So I kept on working out and kept on doing more food challenges, and then it was a way to get out and travel too, because when I went to New Zealand, it was my first time out of the country, and it kind of opened my eyes with everything, and everything just kind of worked together, being able to work out, eat a whole lot. I love food while traveling. It was a pretty sweet deal. And then with our YouTube channel, I was able to eventually, years later, do that full time.
Very cool. What was, I guess that kind of piggybacks off to my next question. What was the one moment that truly sparked Randy Santel's interest in food? And I guess you pretty much answered this, but what was that one moment that inspired you to become a competitive eater full time?
Well, as far as loving food, I've always loved food. But the one big thing that sparked our channel was I did a UK tour for about 45 days, I think it was, in early 2015. And I got lucky. One of my subscribers named Joe Bish, he worked for Vice magazine, and he brought them the idea of doing a small little 20-minute documentary on me for their Fuel series on their Munchies YouTube channel. And over the course of 2 days, for like 23 hours, we filmed a documentary about kind of just my life as a professional eater, traveling all around. And that went on to YouTube and got a whole bunch of just views and likes. And there's a bit of a hook on the end that's fairly sad, but I don't mind it because it just grabs attention and grabbed a lot of subscribers. And our channel just really started to grow from there. My friend Magic Mitch Dombrowski, he joined in March 2013 and started doing all of the editing for the channel because I had done it all myself, and I really had done everything from 2010 to 2013. But then once Mitch stepped in, we got a good boost because his background is in editing, and his videos were a lot better edited than mine, and then they've just kind of continued to improve from there. But yeah, the big thing that set us really going and allowed us to kind of make money as a full-time job was that Vice video, and then we just kind of built from there.
Excellent. Where was the idea of Atlas first conceived? How did you come up with that nickname?
That was before the first challenge ever started, because my friend, a lot of people ask who Zeus is with Atlas and Zeus Promotions, and Zeus is my friend Dan. He's actually married now with 2 kids, and I'm the godfather to a second daughter, but he only really did the first 2 food challenges with me. He kind of did that body transformation contest along with me. He wasn't able to win just because he didn't start out big enough in order to win a transformation, but he helped me a lot with that, and he did that first pizza challenge. But that was a time where it was really popular, the show Jersey Shore on MTV, and The Situation and all those guys had funny names, and a lot of the big time competitive eaters had funny nicknames or just nicknames in general. So we were trying to think of what our nicknames were going to be before doing the pizza, and we couldn't really figure out anything as good as The Situation or anything like that. And I was a bit more narcissist back then because I had the abs and blah, 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 blah. But he decided that he wanted to be Zeus, and because of that, I knew that I had to be Atlas, just kind of go along with the theme, and it works out good because now I travel all over the world, and Atlas has that kind of global theme, and it just works out nice. But yeah, that's where it all started, and everything just kind of built from there as Atlas and Zeus Promotions.
That's fantastic. I know the feeling. I know the feeling about nicknames. You know, it's funny because I was two of my close friends that I went to high school with. They coined they gave me the nickname T-Money. It just came out of nowhere, and it stuck with me ever since.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, it's a good one.
So that's fantastic. My next question is, piggybacking off of Atlas Zeus Promotions, what led you to create foodchallenges.com?
Well, my first website was randysantel.com, and what started that was back in the day, and especially before I tried to do that first pizza challenge, I tried to win before I began. I hadn't thought of that yet, but I tried to be prepared and make sure my stomach was ready and all that, and there really was no solid information as far as what I should do to prep and prepare myself in order to have a stomach that was ready when it came time to eat the pizza. And I started doing all those food challenges, and I think at like 80 or 90, I decided to really go through with putting together randysantel.com, which was going to be kind of a nutrition and fitness little information area so that I could just tell what I did during my transformation periods, and then have all those food challenge tips. So that started, and then I learned a little more about SEO and then just other things. And my friend of a family was able to get foodchallenges.com for only $1,000, which was way cheaper than I would have expected to be, just because it's a really good domain name. But I was able to get that and decided to go through with just putting together foodchallenges.com as having kind of a global feel to it, because at the time I was already becoming one of the top food challengers, not really competitive eaters quantity wise, but as far as food challenge wins, I was already climbing towards the top, and decided to kind of take over the leadership of everything and get things going. So that's kind of what started. randysantel.com is what the base was, the knowledge where I learned how to do everything, and then I had it built, added all the content, and that took way more time than randysantel.com, but it turned out good. I've been happy with it so far.
Excellent. How does one prepare for these types of food challenges? To all the people who don't watch your videos, how does one really prepare for these types of massive food challenges?
Well, it's about a 20-minute video on our channel. If you just look up how to prepare or how to train for food challenges and eating contests, it'll pop up. And then there's a whole section on foodchallenges.com with stomach training capacity, or with training stomach capacity articles under the tips section. And then there's a whole bunch of other ones too for anybody interested. But I trained a lot more back in the day than I do now, since I was a lot more into trying to see how much I could eat. But before a competition, and really my thing, there's 3 different articles on the site. One teaches you kind of how to train more with liquids, which isn't all that recommended. It can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Yes. Then there's how to train with food. And then what I always did was training with both food and liquid. It was a much more safer thing. But I would go to a salad bar buffet like 20 hours before my food challenges or contest, and I would eat as much salad and vegetables and fruit and everything that I could to keep the calories down, but still eat as much. Or else, if watermelon was in season, I would get like a 12, 13 pound, not including the rind watermelon, and I would just try to eat as much as I could as a max out meal to kind of max out my stomach. And then over the next 20 hours, I would just kind of pee all that water out and everything. And once it came time to eat, my body was empty and just ready to eat a lot.
You've mentioned in previous videos on your channel that the moment you turn into Atlas, right before you hit your timer, you plug in your headphones from your friends at Malectronic, and this is interesting. The kind of music that you said on your channel that you listen to while you're competing is quote unquote girly pop.
Oh yeah.
What are 3 of your go-to songs that you listen to as you're competing? And if you had your choice of entrance music in a sports style walkout to these challenges, what would that song be?
I don't know if it would be my walkout song, but my favorite song, and it will always be my favorite song, is Party in the USA. I've got that 3 times on my MP3 player just to make sure it just keeps on playing all throughout the challenge. But that's my favorite song. My favorite singer is Kesha. So most of her songs are just awesome. I've got quite a few of those on my MP3 player. And then I'd say my next go-to is, I love Avril Lavigne. If I had to choose any concert I could go to of anybody, Avril Lavigne I would be one of the tops. As probably weird as that sounds, but I bet it would just be awesome to be there. But as far as walkout song, I'd have to think about that one. Nothing really comes off the top of my head, because if I walked out to Miley Cyrus, people would be like, who the hell is this guy? And what is he doing?
I mean, hey, "Fly on the Wall" would be a good Miley walkout song. But
oh yeah,
but yeah, Skater Boy. I mean, I think a Skater Boy.
There we go. He was a skater boy.
See you later, boy. Yep, that was middle school for me.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Oh yeah, we're talking with Randy Santel of Atlas Zeus Promotions, and you've competed. You've competed and completed good grief, I can't even speak tonight. This is why this is live. You've completed and competed in food challenges from all over the world. As we mentioned earlier, the Pointosaurus in St. Louis to the Breaking BA Barbecue Challenge in Newcastle. You have more than 550 food challenge victories to your name. Out of all of them, which challenge was the most difficult to endure, and which one was the most satisfying to complete? Like, what was the most satisfying victory out of all of them?
Right now, I've got 549 food challenge wins, almost 550, but those wins are in 40 different countries and then 47 states. So the goal is, it's going to be a lot more than 600 wins, but to get to either 25 or 30 countries and then all 50 states. And I'd say my favorite challenge, including favorite video of all the challenges that I've done, was an 8-pound grilled cheese sandwich challenge at a place called Cheesy's in Chicago, Illinois. We had about 20 or 30 people show up and just kind of pack the place in. And grilled cheese is one of my favorite things to eat. And the sandwich was just awesome. It was 5 layers of just deliciousness with 6 different cheeses, and the challenge was awesome. But I've done a lot of people ask what my hardest was, and there's quite a few, because once you get to the 7, 8 pound, 9 pound range, they're all tough, especially because eating kind of depends on the day as far as how ready your body is and just how you're feeling. But the hardest ones are where the sauces and grease and things kind of drip into the bun when there's a lot of bun, and just kind of make it just really gross. Because then along with all that food I have to eat, in order to stomach that gross bun, I've got to drink quite a bit of soda or Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi, whatever the restaurant has, in order to finish. Like in England, I did a 4-foot breakfast sandwich challenge, and there was tomatoes and baked beans, which the juices from those soaked into the bread, and it was just terrible, along with the grease and everything else. So along with 4 feet of breakfast sandwiches, which had like total 12 things of bacon, 12 things of sausage, whole bunch of eggs, and a bunch of more stuff, I had to drink like 8 cans of Diet Coke. So that made the challenge just completely miserable, and I was definitely stuffed to the max after that one. But there's been a few others like that too. There was one in Greece. The worst tasting food challenge I've ever done was in Greece. It was actually with my friend Magic Mitch on my team. We had to do this massive sandwich, and I don't know what the owner was doing. It was supposed to originally be a Euro challenge to kind of accent how great and delicious Greek food is, but like last minute he turned into a burger and added like 11 different sauces, which did not go together, and then the bun was terrible too. So that was just an awful challenge. It took us like an hour and 20 minutes to finish this ridiculously massive thing. I couldn't believe we did it.
That sounds disgusting.
No, it wasn't good.
My good grief. Was I neglected to, there we go. As I neglected to plug my charger in. But anyway, here we go. Anyway, so that's, but yeah, I mean, that almost sounds like that almost sounds like they was you were thrown to the line.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible. Yeah, we had to drink a bunch of sodas to get that one down too.
Oh, yikes. What is the one city or one food challenge from anywhere in the world that you have not been to or that you haven't tried yet that is on your list and that you would like to attempt sometime in the future, like a famous food challenge that you haven't done yet or that you want to try at some point in the future?
I've done just about every food challenge that I've wanted to do. I know I'm really wanting to do one during this upcoming Southwest tour that we're doing. It was like a sopapilla challenge in New Mexico. I've never won a food challenge in New Mexico yet. And it's like a 7-pound sopapilla challenge. It just looked delicious. The restaurant quit it, so it's defunct now, but the restaurant still is there. And with our subscriber base and everything, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get them to do it special for me. So that is one of the ones that I still want to do. And that's going to be, I think it's in Albuquerque or somewhere in New Mexico.
Very cool, very cool.
But as far as countries, I've always wanted to get to Sweden, especially while I'm single. And yeah, Sweden's a country. Eventually we're going to do a Scandinavian tour, which will go to Denmark, Norway, Finland, and Sweden, and do as many challenges as we can there. But yeah, that's really the big area of the world that I want to go to for food challenges. And then Alaska. Alaska and Hawaii is going to be awesome too, because those finish out the list.
So what states? Do you not have any?
That's Alaska, Hawaii, and New Mexico.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, just I wanted to make sure I wasn't losing count.
Oh no, yeah, 47. Then we got 3 more, and then once after this winter tour, I'll be done with the 48 contiguous states, and then it's just time to fly to Hawaii and Alaska.
When looking at the types of food challenges that you do, I was rewatching some of your challenge videos as a way to prepare for this interview, and one of the things that I've noticed is that you focus on like the portions as we were talking about earlier, but I came across one of my favorite moments that I can watch is when you did the Sizzling 7 challenge. it was a spicy wing challenge, and you were
Yeah,
just
the wings
rocking,
in St. Louis.
yeah, you were like rocking back and forth, saying that you were in your happy place because the spicy was the spiciness was going crazy. But this leads to my question: why haven't you done more spicy food challenges?
They mess up my stomach and they're just not fun. Back in the early days, I did a 10 wing challenge where all the wings were covered in Trinidad Moruga scorpion sauce. And it took me 2.5 minutes to eat these 10 wings. And then it took me 2.5 hours of just miserableness to be able to finally walk out of the bathroom and collect my stuff and leave the place. It was just terrible. So I think that has been one of the scars that has kind of kept me from doing challenges. And also, I like to do a challenge every day. And if I do a spicy challenge, it kind of messes up my stomach for a day or two, and I would have to take some days off. And I just try not to. They're just not fun. And then also, a lot of the restaurants that do spicy food challenges, they're not really honest about what all they put in it.
Okay.
And you can never really tell. I try to do, if I'm going to do a spicy challenge at like a more reputable restaurant, but at like the mom and pop restaurants, you never really know what they're going to add into it. They could just make it ridiculously spicy, and I just don't really get involved with it. It messes up your stomach. It's one thing to try to digest 7 pounds of food. I mean, nobody can call all that healthy, but just throwing a whole bunch of lava into your system is definitely not good for it either.
Absolutely. Lately, when you're not traveling the world, trying all these different types of food challenges, one of the things that has become a popular trend with food fanatics on YouTube has been the $20 value menu challenge. How did that idea come about? And are you willing to travel to other fast food restaurants like Whataburger or In-N-Out, among other places, and make this A&W, for example, make this more of a nationwide side challenge?
Yeah, I definitely like to. The problem, though, is that a lot of the restaurants these days aren't having much of a value menu. We've got McDonald's publishing this week the McDonald's breakfast, and that menu there is nothing compared to what it used to be. There were only a few options I was able to try. But yeah, I'd love to do Whataburger. I would love to do In-N-Out, but I'm sure In-N-Out doesn't have any kind of value menu, and a lot of the other ones don't either. And then plus, we try to do more of the ones that are more accessible for people around the world, since we get people watching from all over. So we're going to be we've already done Pizza Hut, but we're going to do Domino's again soon. And then we'll try to do a few others. And then White Castle is one I want to do too. But there's a few others coming up, and we just got to try to see. There's special ways to include some places. Like Arby's didn't have a value menu, but they do have a happy hour. So I was able to include them by doing some sliders, which are available by their happy hour. But yeah, we've had 65 people win various challenges so far and get their sweet t-shirt and then spot on the Wall of Fame. So it's been great to watch all the videos and just kind of get everybody involved. That was one of the big reasons that we did that, is our Monday and Wednesday videos are all kind of just way not outdated, but they were filmed months prior during a previous tour. And by doing the fast food videos, it was kind of a way to mix things up and then just kind of get a more fun way to get people involved and have more content for people to watch on Fridays.
Absolutely. It makes you hungry when you watch those types of things.
Oh yeah. People can't always get to some mom and pop diner in Connecticut, but there's usually a McDonald's near them. So there's still a way to do a food challenge or participate, even if there's no actual food challenges near them.
Absolutely. My next question is, since you just came back from Florida and collaborating with Nathan, what does the future now hold for for Randy Santel, and what can we expect in the near future? When's the next tour going to take place?
Well, yeah, we collaborated with Nathan, and then we both got lucky to collaborate with our friends JP and Julia, who have the channel Healthy Junk Food. They've got almost 1.4 million subscribers, which is way more than we both have, even combined. So that was great. But the next big thing is I'm in school right now to become a dietitian. I've still got 3 semesters after this one is completed, and this semester will be completed in December. And then during our winter break, before the next spring semester starts, we're going to do a 3-week tour for around the southwestern USA. So in 2015, I did an Eastern USA tour, which spanned about 25 states in the eastern half of the United States. Then last winter, we did a Northwest tour. So this winter, we're doing a Southwest tour. So we'll go from Oklahoma and Texas west to Southern California, San Diego, and Los Angeles, and then we'll head on back so I can start school again. And then summer 2018 is going to be dedicated to Asia for sure. And if our channel is doing well as it is now, we'll be able to get to Europe too. So I've got a friend in Spain that wants to host us for a couple weeks and just do a bunch of challenges around there. So hoping to do that. That'll be a lot of fun. And then a company's contacted me about going to Japan too. So a lot of things in the works. We'll just have to see what happens. That's quite a bit of time away.
Fantastic. So talking with Randy Santel of Atlas Zeus Promotions. So where can everybody find you on the YouTubes and social media?
Well, if you're wanting tips for food challenges, be sure to check out foodchallenges.com, or really any kind of search for food challenges usually brings up foodchallenges.com or anything foodchallenges.com related. But for my personal videos and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and all that, everything is Randy Santel. As far as I know, there's only one Randy Santel. I've never met or seen any others via Facebook or anywhere else. So if you Google Randy Santel or just whatever you're on, Instagram, Facebook, especially YouTube, obviously, everything's Randy Santel. And I definitely appreciate everybody following and watching our videos.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to let me interview you tonight, and hopefully everything works out for the best. You get to 600 food wins and maybe more, and we look forward to seeing more food challenges in the future, and look forward to you being an inspiration to people winning before they begin.
Hey, no, I appreciate you on the show, Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you guys at home like this and all my other videos, click the thumbs up button, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at T_Hughes35. I am Thomas Hughes, T-Money, the one and only T-Money 35. Have a great rest of your evening, folks. Take care.